Hi everybody, my name is Alan. On behalf of the crew, I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Bridging Heaven and Earth. Again, we all have lives. We all have, day-to-day activities. We all have things and businesses and businesses and entrepreneurships and meeting the payroll and trying to pay the rent and trying to have a relationship that fulfills us. And, we all have the stuff of the daily life. And yet, each one of us knows somehow that there's something grander, in a sense, that there's something so much more profound about our lives. Not that each breath and each second and each one of those instances of our lives are not beautiful. They are beautiful, but we have a sense of a dynamic connection, a dynamic interaction with everything on this planet, with everything in the universe, with what we call God, what we call love. And in our hearts we know that there's some blockage, there's something going on in this human experience that prevents that knowing, that recognition, that realization of that oneness that we always talk about, that is on every show we do, and in the opening and the closing and the flyers and the art projects. It's dedicated to the oneness. And it's an experience that human beings can have that transcends and just gives a sense of the awesomeness, of the glory of each of us, and each of us all together in this magnificent planet here, in this magnificent universe. And the question is how can we come on a breath-to-breath, day-to-day basis with all the stuff that's happening, with all the incredible stuff, with all the stuff that challenges us? How can we know that truth and know it on a consistent, ongoing basis? And throughout history, that's been the hunger, and that's been the call of the people who were gifted enough to have that experience. When we think of the Jesuses, of the Krishnas, of the Buddhas, of the Muhammads, perhaps now we think of them as heads of religions that are at odds with each other. But at the root of every one of those experiences, trust me, it was love. And it was oneness. And that we're all brothers and sisters here. And in our hearts, no matter what race, religion, color, age, sexual preference, in our hearts, in that time when we wake up in the middle of the night, or when we're at the ocean, or at some point, we know that that is there and that can be known, and that is the true experience of this life. And why do we do this show? Because we, to some extent, have been just so grateful and so fortunate to have had that experience to some extent. And we know that people hunger for that. We hear that from all over the world. And that's why people come in, literally fly in from all over the globe, literally for the afternoon sometimes, as our guest tonight did, just to share their love and their gifts and their experiences with all of us. And what a joy it is. And we know that that experience of that love and that oneness is joyous. When we have it, we know it. And we can live on this planet as brothers and sisters, joyously and lovingly, collaboratively, creatively. And we know that whatever is stopping us from doing that has got to be winding down, that the new paradigm is coming, it's here, it's on its way, and it's here. And we want it, we need it, and it's coming, and we should embrace it with all the dedication and commitment, and in a way, fierceness that we can muster. And tonight's guest has done that. I mean, she was tremendously gifted from an early age. I mean, Sonia Choquette, she's a world-renowned revolutionary psychic. She's an alchemist, she's a healer, she's a spiritual teacher. She's the best-selling author of 8 books that have been translated into 17 languages, 17 countries. And her life is dedicated to traveling the world, wherever people are open, to bring the message that you are that love, that intuition you know, that understanding you know, can connect you, is your connection, is your truth, and how to be open to that, and how to recognize it, and how to just revel in that experience of the heart. Because really intuition comes from the heart. It comes from that place of the one, the love. So I mean, literally she's flown in from Chicago, got here this afternoon through a series of things, ended up going to my house instead of the studio. And now she's here, and she's here to just bring the love. And we have some extraordinary video footage that we've gotten. It's never been shown anywhere on the planet, as far as I know, not on a media outlet. We have the Andy Lakey art videos. Most of you know Andy was a guest on the show, early on when Bridging Heaven Earth was basically in its first couple of seasons. He was an incredible part of the art projects, a great friend of the show, and he just put together, he and some associates, some beautiful video that we're going to show you in 2 different parts. And also, as most of you know, we're in the middle of this international art project, the Bridging Heaven Earth art project that is reaching out all over the globe, and people are producing extraordinary people of all different races and colors and creeds and ages are producing these new pieces based on the theme Bridging Heaven and Earth. And the pieces that are coming in and the energy surrounding them is just so strong and so powerful. So we have one of Andy's pieces here, and we want to have one of Amadea Bailey's pieces here that were done for that project, and we just wanted to share them with you. So, it's an opportunity again. I mean, if you're watching this show and you've sat through this far, or you just came in, this show's about love. That's all it's about. It's about that knowing of that love and oneness. And Sonia's made a lot of effort, joyously and lovingly, to come here and to share her extraordinary gifts with you. So we'll start out tonight's show with the first half of Andy's video. It's beautiful silhouettes and shadows, and it's never been seen before. And just enjoy it. It's incredible. Thank you.
Out of the blue, as a clear sky reflects vast oceans, secrets unravel in silhouettes and shadows. From profile to paper, improbable portraits emerge. On spectral horizons, lifelines dance with intricate energy and sublime purpose. Emanations from a vibrant soul with a heartbeat to the headwinds. Mere paint gives way to revelations to be touched, felt, and remembered. The human spirit ascends from the chaos as sparks reel and the senses fly. A lost resemblance is rediscovered in suggestive shroud. An avatar with man-made wings manifesting splendor. A vision unlike any your eyes have ever seen, yet unmistakably remembered as you yourself once remember it. Recognition fires our collective imagination. With primal renditions so powerful, they require dilution and deflection. Yet likeness has never challenged us like this before. These strangers, beautiful in their starkness and their innocence, unexpected visitors enter my subconscious. They're introduced to me by the people I portray. This is why I paint from places so distant and so close. Have we met somewhere before?
Hi, welcome back. That was some video, wasn't it? Yeah, where do you see the second half? I mean, it's just an amazing thing. And Andy, because of all the toxicity and the whole story that we'll talk about another time, has to paint in a hazmat suit. So, I mean, it's just an amazing story of, dedication to that art and that oneness. But the video is just extraordinarily powerful. And the painting you see here is Amadea Bailey's painting. It's called Gaia. It's part of the art project that she put in for the art project. So it's really an amazing piece, and you'll see it. And now we're fortunate enough to have Sonia with us too. Welcome.
It's great to be here, Alan.
So you made a lot of effort, and you make a lot of effort in human terms to share, like I said at the opening, those gifts. And you've had those gifts from a really early age. And why don't you talk about like how you came to know what you were going to do and what you needed to share and all that?
Well, as I was sharing with you before the show, I grew up in a family where being sixth sensory, which is what I call it, was normal. And I actually believe, when you were talking about the new paradigm, that is the new paradigm, to become fully activated in all of your senses. And we do have a sixth sense. It is actually, as you said, centered in the heart, and it's not active in everyone. But I think we all come in with it active, it just gets dumbed down and shut off and discouraged. So my greatest gift was being raised in a family, given an environment where it was not dumbed down, it was valued. And it was extremely valued. So in our home, the sixth sense was the first.
Wow.
And I grew up in a family with 6 siblings, my mother and my father. My mother was very psychic. And it was funny because in our home, the way we would speak, and actually still do, is you'd say, I would be growing up, I'd say, Mom, can I go visit a girlfriend? And she'd say, well, if it were up to me, I'd probably say, okay, but my spirit says it's not a good idea today.
Wow.
So we always referred to our spirit.
Wow.
In fact, I remember when I was a teenager, I once said, my spirit doesn't agree with your spirit.
I was going to say, I was going to say there must be some places where you and your mother didn't.
Right. No.
Spirits weren't in alignment.
But I basically was raised in an atmosphere where I was recognized as a spirit in a human form, having a creative experience, and that the way the spirit talks to you and through you is through your sixth sense. So it's not always verbal. It depends on our own unique makeup. For some people, we get a feeling or in the gut, or we might hear things or just have an inner voice. And for some, it's a vision. Some, it's just a sense that you can't quite define.
A knowing kind of.
A knowing. But what it really all originates in is a vibration that activates in your heart and then resonates through your body and communicates both soul to soul, you with other people, that's telepathy, you with your guides, because we have a guidance system. The universe is very benevolent, and it provides us higher resources of inspiration, and also you with your higher self, which is the highest guide, and of course you with your creator, which is the Holy Mother, Father, Divine Spirit, God. So I learned very young that was the most important voice to listen to. In our home, we were highly discouraged to ask others, what do you think? The communication was always, what does your spirit say? What is so it's I'm very comfortable with it. But by the time I started school, it became apparent to me that what was natural for me was not so obvious to other people. And I grew up in a Catholic school, which had its own set of challenges because,
this is interesting. Okay, now why would parents of the nature that you had find their daughter? How did their daughter end up in a school
Catholic school? Yeah. Well, see, in the Catholic religion, we believe in angels and we believe in guides. We call them saints, and we believe in the Holy Spirit. And the problem with the school was that we actually believed it. And when you go to school, and I would talk about my angels and guides, and that was
I would think that
they had a little bit of a trouble. Plus, I was very
the
psychic.
root of all religions is
of course.
One,
so I mean, at our house, we even would set an extra plate every day for the angel. And we just always had one extra table setting. We always had a guest. We didn't know who the guest was.
Seriously, from the time?
Absolutely.
Really, that's fantastic.
You know, it's like I grew up in a family where we had the siblings and the parents, but we had the saints and we had Romanian relatives from the other side passing through, and always spirit guides. So there was not a real demarcation between the third dimension and the fourth.
And dream states. I mean, so everything was kind of part of
the natural tableau. I mean, it was all part of it, and there was no big deal about it being differentiated.
And so you were going through like the natural progressions of schools and things like that, where it was demarcated, where there were breakdowns, where there, definitions.
Well,
and
it became obvious to me that, what I considered perfectly normal, other people considered weird or odd or strange.
And was that hard for you to deal with?
Not as hard as it has been for some, because I had this large family system of support. And I think really my soul chose that family system because my job in the world, and it started very young, was to help people reintegrate their sixth sense. And I needed to be so confident in mine that I didn't need your approval. So I was okay with disapproval.
You have it, so you're all right.
Right, I would treat
people
wouldn't give me the approval. I would perceive them as handicapped.
Yeah, I understand.
So I wasn't.
I do it all the time.
Right.
Myself.
Well, you see what I'm saying? So I didn't really need to be witnessed outside
you were
of my
nurtured
home.
right in your home.
Right, and that was the best gift.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah.
So by the time I was a teenager, I was already teaching classes and doing readings, but I was started out doing readings, but that wasn't enough because I didn't want to just be someone else's eyes or predict their future. It was so much bigger than that, and I was frustrated because the understanding people had of my gifts was just, what do you see? And my idea was, well, wait, come over here. I'm going to show you how to see what I see.
Yeah, it's not,
So I think,
unless everybody can attach you to their hip, what good is it?
And I didn't enjoy that.
Yeah, right.
I'm at my soul and my core. I'm a teacher.
I understand.
And my work has always been to activate the sixth sense in other people. And I do it in a couple of ways. You can't activate the sixth sense just with words. That's an intellectual process, and the sixth sense is an organic process. So I would engage people through activity. I would invite them to do things that surprise people. Like in my workshops, I'll have you sing, because you can't sing and be in your head. If you sing, you have to open your heart to get any kind of voice out, or not have a move, because spirit moves. Spirit is always moving, only the mind gets frozen. So the way I would activate the sixth sense with people is through engaging their humor and engaging their creativity and engaging their interest. Sometimes it would scare them a little bit because I am a fire starter. I come in and I defy all sorts of stereotypes about sixth sensory living. I just try to say it's natural and normal, and it's fun. It makes your life more exciting.
You're lighter. I mean,
you are lighter because
you're not carrying you're not carrying around all the concepts and all the ideas.
Well, one of the things I teach that I think is very important about this new paradigm and how to open up your sixth sense is that the five sensory world works out of the ego. And the ego's primary voice is me against you. And you scare me. So up go the... But the sixth sensory fundamental connection is that we work from the spirit. So rather than role to role, we connect soul to soul. And as you were saying in the beginning, on a soul level, we are connected. We are family. We are the same. So there's no one to be afraid of. And I always say to my students, there's no them. There's just us. And we can be comfortable with each other. And the only way to get comfortable with each other is to get out of your head and to get into this spirit connection. It is a vibration, it's a feeling that puts you at ease. And so I really encourage people to begin to frame their sixth sense as natural and necessary. I personally don't see how anyone could succeed without it. And I think it is a fundamentally compromising handicap if you don't have your sixth sense, your spirit.
Would you say that, I mean, in a way that you know, some of the forces at work, or the people who, in a sense, know they're not operating from there, are trying to like clamp down on those who are, because it's frightening.
Right, and you know what I call that? You know, if we were to take a crystal glass here and we would start to put a higher vibration on that
Yeah,
glass.
it's crack at some point.
Well, the first thing it does is it contracts.
Oh, I see. Interesting.
It tries to hold on to itself, and then it blows open.
I see.
And so what you're saying is an example of the contraction of five sensory people, because they know something's changing.
Right.
They can feel.
Dylan told them that about 25. Something's
Right,
happening here.
right. Something's going on here, and so they're trying to hold on to the old form.
Right.
And so five sensory people are really kind of in your face right now, and that's why shows like this are so important, because we're the higher vibration. And so when people are told the world's going to hell in a handbasket and it looks as bad as it's ever been, then what we need to say is that's only appearance. That's the contraction before we have this incredible breakthrough. And our job as light workers, our job as messengers of the new paradigm is to just keep our attention and focus and message on this higher vibration. And I remind people we were all birthed through contraction, so it's just a birthing process.
Yeah, you know, I think the difficult part is when, like, the planet is going through this releasing and healing, and it almost looks like trauma with all the, I mean, for a while there were seemingly natural disasters every
Right.
8 or 9 minutes somewhere.
Well,
but the
last year
planet is just going...
It's purging itself, and
Right.
last year was the year of the water. And I believe 2006, and this we'll see, as a psychic person, as a visionary, I believe it's going to be the year of fire.
So that's
and-
more volcanoes.
Right,
and-
and fire and wind. And I think that there'll be a lot of shifts as we keep raising this vibration. And fire doesn't have to be inflicted upon you. If you would think about it, spirit is depicted by fire. And what it
passion.
means
I
is
mean,
right,
passion's
and
different.
action,
Yeah, action
and
is-
choice. And so what I encourage in my work and what I'm encouraging in everything I do is start taking action, making choices that raise your vibration, that will actually put you back in flow with your natural, authentic self. Make choices that don't put up the barriers, but that will open them up. Be more authentic, including, and here's an incredible and simple action people can make, is just to say, I'm afraid, but don't let it stop you. You know, it's not fear that holds you back, it's hiding fear. Then you have no energy left. To hide fear is like trying to hide an elephant. Right. And so if you just say, well, I'm afraid, you free up 90% of your energy. And then that energy can become perceptive and intuitive and sensitive and aware and creative. If you're not spending all your time defending your fearful ego, of course the ego is going to be afraid. That's just part of the nature of the ego, so you make peace with it. But you don't try to protect it or hide it. And you introduce humor. The tools that I use to introduce intuition, breathe. And that's the first tool, breathe. And there's a way to breathe, in through the nose and out through the breath. And let out the sound, ah. Because that opens up the throat chakra, and the throat is the chimney of the heart. It's five sensories have the throat torqued. It's choked off. They don't speak from the heart, they speak from the head. Opens up the heart naturally, and you will naturally begin to speak from the heart, even by doing that. Move. You know, intuition, one of the tools I give people to empower them is don't talk on it, walk on it. Just get outside and go for a walk, and as you're walking, then your spirit will start speaking and guiding you. Your spirit is only a breath away, but it doesn't interrupt the mind. So that's just another tool to activate your sixth sense. Sing. That's a wonderful way to activate your sixth sense. And nobody sings badly. I wrote in my book, The Diary of a Psychic, I had a reading from a woman when I was 13 years old, and she said, don't worry, honey. I know you're worried about your voice, but you were a rock star on Saturn, and you just kept that
right,
per
keep
scale.
That right, yeah.
So I always tell people when I sing, if they don't like it, hey, I'm a rock star on Saturn. You know, you don't know who you're talking to. So sing, take your voice back, take your spirited voice back. That's very important.
So I mean, in essence, you're saying, how can we be in the moment? Because
Be
the
real, be
mind
present.
is be present.
Yeah, be here.
And those things bring you into the present, because mind
Absolutely.
can't operate when you're singing and walking and...
Yeah, it can't control you. It has to surrender. And this is a really important message I have. Don't make activating your sixth sense the sacred cow. Is it your mind again? It's your ego, your intellect. This is so holy. Everything about you is holy.
Right.
You don't have
There's
to be holy.
Exactly.
You are holy. But you can activate it with humor, with a sense of, one of my teachers said this to me, and I share this freely, get over yourself. Just get over yourself and get into your spirit. Get over your persona, get over your shtick. Get over your thing, you know, just get into your spirit. Just be real. And that is the way to be present and laugh a lot, because the spirit is joyful. You can tell you're in spirit if you feel joy.
Right. We talk about now if it's not joyous and loving, why bother?
Well, it's certainly not your spirit.
Right.
If it's not joyous and loving, it's your intellect. Now, here's another tool, because I like to give people tools.
Right. Beautiful.
If you don't have tools and you take all this information, it's just like eggs on Teflon. It just slides right off. So another tool is to treat your ego like a pet. You know, you love your pet, but you have to train. You wouldn't let your pet run around the house and chew everything up.
Yeah, it's out of control. You don't want a pet out of control.
Right, so you love it, and you see it and be endeared to it, but no, it's your pet. It can be your favorite pet, and you can play with it, enjoy it, and know it's acting out, but never take it seriously. That's a very important tool.
Well, I think probably the thing that humans do more than anything else that weighs them down, they take themselves too seriously and everything about them.
And you know, here's the thing. You can feel the vibration. When you are in a five-sensory vibration, everything stops. And do you know why? People hold their breath.
Oh, well, yeah.
That's the first reason. You can feel it. And everything gets very heavy and very brittle and scary. Because
not fluid.
No, it's not fun. So in a sixth sensory environment, people are laughing, they're breathing, they're moving, they're being spontaneous, and it's a completely different vibration. So that's why in all my books, trust your vibes.
Trust your intuition.
Pay attention to the vibration. And if you don't like the vibration, first thing you need to do is take a breath, move around a little bit, check the place out. If it can't shift, leave. That's a very powerful tool.
Right, you have the ability
to use your left and right foot. And don't make anyone wrong, because there's no them, there's just us. But some of us are sleeping.
It's just not appropriate for you at that point.
Right, some of us are not in the same vibration. So I really think it's important, especially as we go into 2006. This is a year of choice. That's the best action. This is a year of change. This is a year of choice. This is a year of decision. This is the year to take a risk, which doesn't mean be reckless. It means find your courage.
Right. Yeah, be courageous.
Yeah, find your courage. And one of the most powerful things you can do is just speak your truth. And the way to do that is breathe in through the nose.
You have to experience your truth first.
And if your truth is I'm afraid, say I'm afraid. Right. That alone will give you a lot of freedom. And say, no, I'll be present anyway. And then another thing you can do is say, I need help. Help me. I don't know. And here's another good tool. I don't know. I don't know what my truth is right now. I hadn't considered it lately, but I'll think about it. And I'll
just open the door a little.
Right, and do it for fun. This is an exploration. This is not remedial school.
Right, I understand.
This is just
we take everything.
Yeah, like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? Nothing.
Right. Okay, you know, I think what we'll do is we'll watch the second half of Andy's video, and then maybe you can get into, like, you know, trust your vibes at work, trust your intuition at work, because that's a place where a lot of fear comes in, a lot of conceptual of how you're supposed to be. So, okay, so maybe what we'll do now is do the second Andy Lakey video. It's the second half. You've seen the first half, Silhouettes and Shadows. It's just an incredibly powerful piece. Just listen to the music, settle in. Okay, Andy Lakey, Silhouettes and Shadows.
Shadows provide proof of our existence. The silhouette is the metadata of presence, the resultant change of incandescence that is referenced both by our interference and reception to the light. The shadow is a physical signature that identifies more than shape and mass, dissolving and reconstructing in silent percolation, capturing something vital on paper, like a remote viewer put in contact with scant artifacts that sense deeper context and distant location. I look beyond the face to the luminal information in transition, and often something deeper, more surprising, more provocative emerges. Yet there is an unpredictability about this process. I often encounter disturbance, a white noise that yields little beyond the static surrounding a person. There are other times when I receive nothing at all. I am unschooled in the psychiatric arts and know little about metaphysics of any kind. What I do is bear witness, like a journalist faithfully transmitting the dialogue uncovered between the subject and his environment.
Hi, welcome back. We're back with Sonia. And also the picture you see for the art project is the one Andy Lakey did, who you just saw that incredible video of. This is called Green Fang, and Green Fang is supposedly the character that stands at the gates of hell and doesn't let any good people in. So that's what Andy told me. So Sonia, you're going to talk a little bit about, your new book is Trust Your
Vibes at work.
At work, okay. And why would that be more difficult? I mean, most people would have an idea, but why don't you talk about that?
Well, I wrote Trust Your Vibes at Work because I've been doing consulting for people for so long. And in the last, I'd say 5 or 6 years, and especially in the last 3 or 4, work has become the most stressful place and the place where people most quickly abandon their intuition, their sixth sense, and may become so fearful. And so I decided to address the issue directly because it's one thing to be playful with your vibes and to work with your intuition in non-threatening environments. But when you're talking about your bread winning, feeding your family, your security, my health insurance, the things that really take care of people at a fundamental, basic, organic level, they get scared. And so Trust Your Vibes at Work is a book that I just help people take these tools to work in a practical, grounded, non-threatening way and begin to introduce your intuition to your job. Because, it's interesting, as much trouble as there is out there in the work community, work world, economic environment, only for 5 sensory people. 6 sensory people don't have those obstacles. Certainly we have our challenges, certainly we face the same requirements, but the 6th sense will always give you a resource. There's always a solution. They'll always show you the next step, where the 5 sensory world you just see, oh my God, I'm stuck, I'm in trouble, I'm not safe. So there's some tools I can share that will really help you with activating your intuition and taking your highest power to the job where you can prosper and be creative and make a difference and have a good time. I mean, can you imagine that? All things at once. So the first thing, when you wake up in the morning, that breath, that brings your spirit into present time. Before you get out of bed, and if you do a meditation or blessing or whatever, spend a couple of minutes intending your day. Just intention is a conscious action. We talked about action being the year of fire and action. Intention is a conscious action. So just close your eyes and review what you have coming up. And then create it in your mind, in your heart, in your feeling center, in your words, whatever is your avenue, because not everybody's a visionary, not everybody's a feeling person. Whatever comes your way naturally, how you want it to go. For example, today, I did that. I had to get up at 3:30 in the morning and get on a plane from Chicago to fly here. And I envisioned that it would go wonderfully, that we would have no trouble getting the car. We had to get to LA and drive here. I envisioned that I would be able to fix up, because honestly, you don't look so good at 3:30 in the morning and then traveling 4.5 hours. I envisioned that I would find the place. And yes, we had our challenges and our obstacles. I did sort of end up here north by northwest, but I ended up here peaceful.
Right.
I ended up here feeling, I intended that this was going to be a great experience.
Right.
And the sport of being six sensory is whatever obstacle comes up, you just look at that as sport. Not, oh my God, well, this is just sport. Now I get to really use my sixth sense. So that's a tool. Intend your day, how you want it to go. And, you know, intention is real, and people are fluid, and they are telepathic, and they are energetically receptive. If you walk in intending it to be a problem, well, guess what? You're very effective and very creative. If you walk in intending things to be difficult and that people aren't going to get you and you have to be defensive, that's a vibration, and that is a very toxic vibration that people feel immediately and will respond. If you intend it to work out, soul to soul, it's just us, and we're just making...
We're in this together.
We're in this, and we're just doing it, and we can do it happily, or we can do it in drama. I try to avoid drama. For a Romanian, that's difficult. But that's a tool. Another tool is to be mindful of your work environment. One thing I was remarking to you about that I appreciated is the aesthetics of your work environment. It's beautiful. That creates a vibration.
Right.
And people become insensitive to their environment, and yet it influences you. So wherever you work, there are things you can do to create a more aesthetic and more pleasing experience.
Are there specifics, or would they be different? They'd be different
Would be
every
different, but look at the things you've done. You've done perfect things. Flowers. Flowers speak to the emotional body. Flowers and raise the vibration. Green, the color green, is very grounding to the physical body. So if you can bring in a plant or put some flowers. Water. First of all, hydrate yourself, because you can't, if you're dehydrated, you can't be intuitive. Your body is like
battery's having a lot of...
Your battery's in overload. Your body is like a battery.
You've been up for about 33 battery hours.
Are you kidding? Try like 8 weeks of it.
Really?
But anyway, your body
You hold it up pretty good,
is
girl.
like a battery. So I've just created a great new word, your battery.
I know that.
That's very efficient.
All right, we got a new book.
Yeah, we got a new
Get
book.
your battery in order. Get up those volts.
Get those volts up. If you're sixth sensory, you have a good battery.
Right.
So anyway, and then you put art.
All right.
You've done it naturally. Put art. Bring pictures of people you love. Bring. Here's another example. Spiritually inspiring totems. So you can do these things, and you can be subtle. If you can't do it on your desk, you can put it in your drawer. It's all about being creative and resourceful. And that sets a different vibration at work. Now, I have to talk about something that's really important, is what you eat. Because if you're going to eat low energy food, low vibration
Called
food.
crap.
Right, if you eat crap, you're not going to
Low
be
battery.
your batteries.
Down.
It's in trouble.
Right.
So you have to be sure to at least eat a little something with life force, and ideally protein. Protein in the morning will activate the higher awareness of your consciousness. So you need to do that a little bit. Sorry, I'm laughing.
No, it's
now.
great.
And laughing is a good vibration.
I would
so
say.
You have to laugh.
Right.
And also, you have to be aware of what I call the
So when you talk about protein, a lot of people think of meat, and a lot of spiritual people think that...
And they're horrified when you say meat. And
Well, I was wondering if you were going to horrify people by...
Well, no, I don't
would
think...
you say you
I
eat
would
bacon
say,
for breakfast?
I would say, believe it or not, whatever works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Trust your vibes. Mm-hmm. If you eat bacon and want to kill over, then...
Or kill everyone.
Or kill everyone else, then probably bacon...
Killing is
probably... not a good idea. Right. But for some people, you need it. So I am, and I will offend sometimes the spiritual people,
right.
but it's very subjective. what works for you. Just pay attention. If
Right.
you
Right.
pay attention,
Well, that's
because that's
everything else is conceptual.
right. You need to listen to your own experience, and that's part of what six sensories do. That is really very
Unnerving for most people.
for most people, because you're taught, well, what do you think? What do you think? What should I do?
What's
and
the
six
rule?
sensories
What are
say, you know,
spiritual
this is
people?
my experience. I'm going with my experience. So I think it's very important to pay attention to your experience. If you look up the definition of intuition, for example, the first definition is pay attention. So that's what five sensory people tend not to do. We six sensories pay attention to everything.
Well, Gurdjieff would talk about you're almost like become like a robot. So
Right.
I mean,
You're unconscious.
You're unconscious.
Right.
You're asleep.
So then at work, here's something that people encounter. I call them the BVDs, the bad vibe dispensers. And we run into them all the time.
Sounds like an underwear.
I know, it's or what I call it is the poopy diaper. I mean, the
That's
BVDs are the
exactly.
poopy. Honestly,
I
you
know.
gotta be real. Honestly, you walk
When
in
you
and it's
said
like,
it was
it's like you get the visual, don't
right,
you?
you
Okay.
absolutely. And the energy of it, really.
So the thing is, you have to, first of all, ask yourself, if you're experiencing bad vibes, ask yourself if you're the BVD. I mean, honestly, whenever you point a finger pointing back at you, so maybe it's you. Did you get enough sleep? Did you eat breakfast? Did you do your homework? Are you being all energetically worked up because you didn't do your job?
Right, you're cranky.
Right, you're cranky to cover up your own mistakes. So I'd say always go to yourself first. And if you're clear and you're not the one dispensing the bad vibes, then you start looking at who it is. And there's a couple things you can do with bad vibes dispensers. You know, you can send them love, offer them a drink of water. Believe it or not, that really changes the vibration very quickly.
Wow.
Listen to them and let them complain and say, what else? And let them complain some more and say, what else? Let them empty the dispenser. And don't comment, don't necessarily resonate, don't necessarily agree, just say, and what else?
Sounds like one of those Woody Allen movies. If I keep that stupid smile on my
Right.
face,
Then
one more-
eventually you see he was right though. And then you say afterwards, wow, I hope it works out. And why don't you have a drink of water and maybe that'll help.
Go lie down.
Right, and you know what? That's often all people want.
Right.
Is just 5 minutes of undivided attention to throw a hissy fit. So give it to them. But do carry in your purse or
A
pocket.
spray.
Right, a spray. And I have a couple I recommend. One of them is Rescue Remedy, which is a flower essence.
The Bach, is it the Bach?
Yes, it's that's a very good one. Lavender spray is very good. Very good. If they're really bad vibes dispenser, you can spray them with, bug spray. No, I'm kidding.
Do you spray with
I'm
yourself?
kidding.
No, I
No
know.
bug spray, no bug
no.
spray. But, it's about,
Uh-oh.
you change the vibration with a little lavender spray or a little, little flower essence because they're a BVD. And just say, it's bad vibes. I'm just changing the atmosphere. And people don't argue with you. They'll go.
They'll think it's you.
Yeah, they'll go, and you go,
Yeah,
no,
you
it
could-
might be me. So, what the heck? Gotta do what you gotta do. So you just,
Right.
so these are things but now here's another thing at work. You make an agreement in a job to do a job. So don't just put yourself in a chair and not do your job. That's stealing. Do your job. It's like, be honest. That is a fundamental tool for six sensory living, is have integrity and be honest, whether someone's looking or not. Don't be typing away, but you're really emailing your friends. That's not honest. That's not the agreement. Keep your agreements. And that's a real radical concept for a lot of people. And if you can't keep your agreements, quit that job. Because somebody will go in there and do it. Often a boss isn't really a bad person, but if you're not keeping your agreements and you're good at covering it up, they feel it.
Right. They know that you're
They'll
not into
feel it, and
right,
they feel that you're not in integrity. You're not aligning with the intentions
You're
of the job.
spraying them all the time, but
Right,
you're
you're
not
spraying,
into
right. And honestly,
Right. I mean, who are you kidding with this
the
spray?
Get your butt in the chair and do your
Do
job.
something
Come
for
on.
us. Yeah,
I mean,
right.
I have to say, a spiritual life is, and I tell people, forget living a spiritual life. I tell them to live a spirited one, where your spirit is in your body showing
Okay, why
up.
don't you talk a little about, because I mean, a lot of times the spiritual existence is like more, or it used to be more, not so much with a gruel bowl and
Oh
shuffling.
yeah, the posturing.
Right, and where's the passion? That always
Right.
struck me
See,
as like,
I believe now that's the old patriarchal paradigm. That's the Piscean age of spirituality. But we're in the Aquarian age now.
let's dance.
Yeah, that's exactly right. In fact, the logo in all my books is a dancer. Let's dance. And that is when the mind marries the spirit and the body, and it's the
all
male
one.
and the female, and it's engaging your organic holy experience. So rather than deprivation, it's creativity.
Abundance,
It's the
cool.
garden, you know, the garden grow, and Leonardo da Vinci was a wonderful sixth sensory, and what he said is feed your senses. To achieve your greatest experience, feed your senses. He said, wear clothes that feel good. Eat food that really tastes good. Take time in the afternoon to rest. Listen to good music that it inspires your soul. And have community with people. And touch things and study them and get involved and engaged. And when you live in your head or in the past or the future, you're nowhere.
Right.
And so your mind is keeping you from being involved. So you're right. Let's dance.
Oh, no.
You know, when I teach in my workshops, well, see, now look at your whole vibration has changed. Aren't you enjoying yourself? I am.
I am.
I mean, that's what
No.
a sixth sensory life is
But
about.
I think it changed with the bootery or whatever. I think that
Well,
was
see,
the,
now, you
that
know,
was the turning.
The battery is,
the
see, now, that's the joy guides.
No, right. I know.
They come in, and when you are just a little too serious, or if things just aren't lively enough, they come in, and they
If you're open to them.
Right, and you-
because there is no such word. How can I say that? I'll look stupid. You know, those
Well, we
the
totally
disclaimers.
look stupid,
no,
Alan,
I
but
know.
we're
I've been
okay
doing
with
it for
it.
years. No, and you no.
And see, that's
this is the
another-
195th
that is
time.
another part
Right.
of sixth sensory living is you've got to be willing to go
Right.
past the comfort zone.
Yeah, right. Who cares?
Of, you know, we're making it up as we go.
Exactly.
And that way of living is really fun.
I mean, that's why people talk a lot about, you know, what are you going to talk about on the show? And I think it was usually we end up talking about love or booteries or whatever, or booties or whatever it turns out. But I mean, like, you know, you and I didn't talk about what we were going to talk about.
Never.
there'll
Because
be
the
two-
spirit
right.
can't be scripted.
Right.
The spirit is very spontaneous and organic.
And why bother? I
Right,
mean,
get-
if we're going to have a show that's going to
Yeah.
be fun and interesting for
People
you and
can
for
tell.
right.
I mean, here's
it's like
the thing.
dead. It's dead.
People can tell. They can feel the vibration. And whether you're watching in Taiwan, vibration.
Exactly.
It permeates across the board, and a vibration of authentic spirit is actually very intimate. And intimacy is what we're all seeking, and that's what this is all
Well,
about.
we want the vibration of joy and love. I mean, we always
Right.
talk about that's what the show's about. The words. I mean, obviously
Right,
your
and
words
they're
were
getting
fantastic.
it today.
Exactly.
They
Right,
are
that's what
they
it's
are having
about.
the experience because everything is fed. The senses and the conversation and the art and the beauty and the intention and this is what I talk about at Trust Your Vibes at Work. Create
You know, I
a
think
work of art.
But we're coming to the end of the show. So let me just tell people, if you want any information about Sonia, about Andy's art, about Amadea's art, about the art project, call me, Alan, 805-687-2053. That's Alan, 805-687-2053. You know, again, I mean, like Sonia's been talking about, that's the opportunity, that's just what's available now for us. Let's take advantage of it. We love you. God bless you. Good night. Thank you.